are largely framed by the intellectual work of Alexander Hamilton and a few founding fathers. And he did this against enormous odds. I'll make one correction just to correct the record. He was not born in St. Croix. He was born on the island of Nevis, near Montserrat, and then moved to St. Croix. Got to correct these guys. But he witnessed a hurricane. He saw the devastation impact of slavery on plantation life down there. He saw that everything was bad about the mercantile system under the British Empire. And because of that, because of the ideas that he had, we are standing here today in this uniform. And I have testified before Congress. I've talked to a number of groups around the country and around the world, and I tell them that the United States Coast Guard is a unique product of the American Revolution. Before the American Revolution, there was not such a thing as a Coast Guard. You had navies, you had border guards, you had customs types functions, but you did not have a patrolling force protecting the sovereignty of the nation based on international law, customs, and the sovereign authority that belies a nation to be able to conduct trade. And there was never an entity that was created like us before then. And if you've looked at Coast Guard Pub 1, you will know that in Federalist Paper number 12, which is entitled On Revenue, written by Alexander Hamilton under his nom de plume, which was Publius, a Greek name he took on, he said that some vessels stationed at the entrance to our bays and harbors would at very small expense be useful sentinels of the laws. I took that phrase from Federalist Paper number 12 and put it right in the front of Coast Guard Pub 1, our doctrinal pub, because that is what we've become, sentinels of the laws. And that is the reason that a fast response cutter that is being built right now to replace the 110s will be called the Sentinel class. There needs to be a legacy attached to our operating units, how we name and carry on our tradition. In this case, we're going to be able to trace the fast response cutter back to Federalist Paper number 12, authored by the genius of Alexander Hamilton. Now, one thing you got to know about Alexander Hamilton, and you already picked this up, and if you read about him, he was a fairly energetic person, okay? Just reading his biography made me tired. But he did a couple of things that have become landmarks to great leaders. And he wasn't a perfect person. He was probably the first public figure in the history of the United States that was involved with a scandal regarding another woman that was not his wife. He was not perfect. But he knew what he believed in. He put his heart and soul into furthering the environment around him and his country. He communicated clearly. He communicated exhaustively and energetically. And he never gave up on his point of view, his values, and what he stood for. To the point, there is some speculation on whether or not he did what they call throw away your shot. In other words, when Aaron Burr took the shot, he threw his in the air. We'll never know. But if you look at some of the organizational DNA that we have absorbed over the years related to being able to operate in environments that are challenging and complex, and what I've told everybody for the last couple of years, to create the art of the possible where none exists, to open the too hard to locker, to take complex problems out, to deal with them. There was no more complex problem in the world than trying to fund a government that was bankrupt, which was the basis for our existence. What does that tell us all here today? Over the last 3.5 years as Commandant, I've been talking about making the Coast Guard a change-centric organization. Now, you've heard a lot about modernization. Now, the bits and pieces of modernization have to do with how we operate our business, how we do maintenance, how we do logistics, how we do finance, how we're going to conduct command and control and distribute our resources and do the work. But modernization is not what I'm trying to achieve in the Coast Guard. And to some extent, I'm trying to achieve in the Coast Guard what Alexander Hamilton was trying to achieve during, after the Revolution, and leading up to the ratification of the Constitution. I'm trying to create a new form of organization that is adaptive to its external environment, that can understand subtle nuances and changes from our stakeholders and those who demand services of us, and create an organization that can continue to change and evolve. Modernization is only the work list we have right now. What I really want the Coast Guard to be, the Academy to be, and all of you to be are lifelong learners, people that think about problems, sense the external environment, and are be able to adapt to it without having somebody come in and tell us, you have not changed, you have not kept up with the times and dictated terms to us. Because the environment we live in now, in many ways because of the 7x24 media coverage, is a zero tolerance for failure environment. And if we can't create ourselves as a self-correcting organization or a self-regenerating organization, we run the risk of having somebody say, there's a problem, you're not fixing it, and we have terms dictated to us. And it's the same in life. We have to understand what's changing around us, and we have to adapt. And you have to do that by lifelong learning, continually focusing on your leadership skills, what you believe about yourself, what you believe about those around you, and where you see yourself in the Coast Guard. I think I told you several years ago when I was here, if you look at our core values of honor, respect, and devotion to duty, they're really concentric circles. Honor is at the center. It is the compact you make with yourself on how you're going to conduct your life. Respect is the compact you make with those around you, the people that are sitting next to you, that are in Chase Hall, that are down on the Eagle, your summer cruises in the Coast Guard with you. And devotion to duty is the compact you make with your country when you put on this uniform. Okay? I don't own these stars. The American people lent them to me. And I'm going to have to give them back on the 25th of May. All right? Admiral Papp will have them then. It'll be his responsibility to do the same thing. And I will give you a nautical metaphor to drive the point home, and I may have done this a couple years ago. As you are learning about our service, acquiring skills, education, learning teamwork, understanding what it is to commit yourself to public service, remember not to get stuck in relative plot, where you're at the center of the maneuvering board and you see everything relative to you. You all know what I mean. To really understand what's going on, you got to take your course and speed, the range and bearings of the contact, develop their course and speed, and resolve the vectors, then you really know what the true situation is. If you constantly look at everybody in relation to you, you're at the center of the universe, that's how you see the world. That's not the world. You got to be able to solve that solution on a daily basis. And that requires your skill, your intellect, what you're going to gain here, and what you're going to gain after you graduate. Whether it's PCO, PXO school, OCS, Foreign Officer Indoctrination, or whatever. It's a constant evolution, acquiring skills in that portfolio that makes you better and adaptable, more agile and flexible, but a better leader, not only for the people that are working for you, but the people that you work for and the people that work around you. Now, we are going through significant change in the Coast Guard right now. And it's going to require you, as you move into the service from whatever school, course, four-year college you're attending here, to be able to understand that and adapt to it. That is a challenge that I've laid before the Coast Guard, and that's a challenge I've continued to present to you every time that I've come up here. It's not an issue of dealing with the schedule, which is tough. We cram more things in the day than you know what to do with, no matter what program you're involved here. The question is learning how to adapt, creating skills to manage everything that's going on around you, and creating the conditions for future success in your life.